I want to get into Sharash Ibar, and as the young folks say, I hear them say on social media, I want to run, I want to run this back what we did last week because man, I put it on the chat. I know everyone may have not understood, so I want to run back the same word ride that we did last week, and man, I just these things like we used to say when we had the bayat when you are reading or studying and the Most High give you these nuggets or turn a light bulb on. These are like really praise break moments. Like I can't believe this. This stuff has been in our face the whole time. But like I said, the east winds are blowing. It's our season. The Most High is waking His people up, and putting His word back into His language is really, really just man. I can't get enough of learning our culture. So let me do a new share, and we're going to run back the word ride that we learned last week, and we're just going to apply that new verse or a different verse. I posted in the chat, so you guys may have already read it. But for those who didn't read it or couldn't understand that new glyphs that they used, so this is the word we learned last week, and Sister Joyce, if you can be the reader, because I just feel like Akshamariya needs a break. I don't want to burn that brother out. He's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So if you don't mind, sis, I would greatly appreciate it. Um,
Um,
so we're going to run this word back. And so this is a word we learned last week. And we know the head of the man, we start on the right side with the head of the man, and that's the R or the Ra sound for us. And then it's the picture of an I, and we just pronounce it as I. So when we put the head of the man and the I together, is Rai. And one of the ways we said we can process this, and we're still doing it positively with a positive connotation. So when we process this as Shemitic people, we would say that this man is continuing, his seed is continuing. And we're saying that if a man continues, if his seed continues, that's his family. And what we pointed out when we went to Exodus, that's Washamoth, chapter 20 and 16. Pagans say Exodus, but Washamoth 20 and 16, or Exodus 20 and 16, the pagans use the word neighbor. So the pagan word neighbor is really rye for us, and a Shemitic person seeing the word rye, like the pagan word neighbor does not express what rye means. Rye actually means this is my flesh, this is my kin. So when the Most High told us in Exodus 20 and 16, do not bear false witness against your rye, He's telling us don't be lying on your kin, on your people, on your family. So it's much more powerful when we learn our original language, our culture, and it awakens the text. It just the text just comes alive and is more powerful. But more importantly, we see that the text is specifically for Jacob. The text is specifically for Israel. We would say Yasharala in our tongue. So the word Rai doesn't mean neighbor as like we're familiar with that person. It means Rai, he's my kin. So Exodus 20 and 16, the most High said, don't bear false witness against Rai, your kin. And then I was meditating at the job trying to pick my spirit up, and you guys remember how I used to say that everything we learned inside the church wasn't wrong, and those songs we would sing with passion and make you cry. That zeal we had for Jesus at the time, that zeal we had for God, God, that zeal was not wrong. It just was misplaced because we were unlearned. The Most High didn't remove the scales from our eyes yet. But that zeal inside the church that was true. That was sincere. And now, all praise to the great I am by the blood of Hamashiach, we have the same zeal for the true Messiah and for the great I am, the only Elohim or power for us. And so I was meditating and trying to get my spirit back right, and that old gospel song came to my spirit, and what was it? Oh, no greater love, no greater love, and that's the song we played during Pesach, Passover. No greater love than a man lay down his life for his friend, and so that song just kept coming up in my spirit, and I'm like, yeah. So I looked the verse up, and I said, wow. So, Sister Joyce, if you could take us to Yakanan chapter 15, Yakanan 15 and verse 13. And let's read that. It's red letter. It's Messiah talking. John 15 verse 13.
John 15, verse 13, it says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends."
All praises, knowing that Messiah laid down his life for me. When you're going through, especially when you're in a valley, you have to make this thing personal. Like he did this for me. Like I can't be worrying about, the man next to me. Messiah laid down his life for me. And just knowing that, I can't let him down. I can't give up on him. So no matter how hard the spiritual attack is, no matter what my emotions are trying to, steer me to, I can't let Messiah down because he laid down his life for me. And when I read this verse, it says that no greater love than this, that a man laid down his life for his friends. And you know how us Hebrews think, us Israelites think. So let me look up the word for friends. So I go and I look up the word for friends, and it's rai. The same word rai can be applied for the pagan word friend. So neighbor and friend is satisfied with the Hebrew word rai. And then, as we're saying, rai doesn't mean friend like, I met him on a playground and we became best friends. In the Shemitic sense, rai is my kin. The man continues. And we go back from Adam, Enoch, Noah, Shem, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The same man is continuing. So when he say, and we know for a fact that our king Hamashiach, Yahushai, we know he didn't speak English. The English language was just developed in the 1300s. So we know he didn't speak English. He didn't say that word friend. Now, they have translated the so-called New Testament into Greek, but we know Messiah didn't speak Greek. He was an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. So when he say that no greater love than this, than a man laid down his life for his, he wouldn't have said friend, he would have said rye. I'm laying down my life for rye, the posterity, my people, my kin. And man, that just picked my mood, my spirit up. I was just so elated. This thing is no getting around it. The church don't want to concede. You can't get around. The Messiah is specific to Israel. His service is to Israel. His sacrifice is to Israel. He gave up his life not for friends like I just met you and we BFFs now. He gave up his life for his kin, Rai. Any comments or questions about that? All praise to the great I am. I can't. I can stop this shit. I just can't get enough of this thing. The water up. I can't get enough of this thing. There's no getting around it. you could try to twist and bend these verses, but this covenant, this Bible is about one nation. This Bible is about one nation. And let me preface that. The the positive prophecies and the positive promises belong to one nation, the Hebrew people. There's no getting around this. So John 15:13, the Messiah laid down his life not for his friends, he laid down his life for his kin. Rai. A man continues mean that's family. A man continues, that's family. He laid down his life for his family. All praise to the great I am. So I just had to run that back and share that verse. I did put it in the chat, but when I screenshotted the blue letter, you know, those glyphs, a lot of people don't know how to read those glyphs. So that's why I wanted to share it today with you all here. But that's Rai once again, and it has many connotations. The positive connotation is family, neighbor, friend. Is Rai, children of Israel. Any comments or questions before we close this out? All right, let me stop this. So today, I don't want to say we ain't going to be long because it's not up to me. It's up to the Most High. But I want to get back into covenants and promises, part 3. I think this is going to be part 3. I do want to do something for those who are not on social media. I know Sister Amanaya and the Neal family are not on social media. I want to share this real quick. Let me do this airdrop because this is part of destroying Christian dogma, and this is why we do what we do. Oh, it's two of them. It's two of them want to share. Okay. Let me do this one. And it's just proving our point that this text we're reading, you could put it in any language you want, but it boils down. This text is about the Hebrews, the Israelites. The Israelites. Do that one. And let me do this. I don't need, hold on. I don't need this one now. Just this one. The other one, I may have to go grab it off of, you know what, I can do it. I can get it off my email because I don't know if I saved that. Let me go grab it off my email. So let me do this while I'm pulling this one up. I want to share these two screenshots that I put on social media because I know everybody's not on social media. And it's really simple. It's reading comprehension 101, and it's like how did we miss this? But I don't think it's that we missed it. It just wasn't time. The Most High wasn't waking us up yet. But this is something from a writing this source is the formation of Christendom. The formation of Christendom. And this was published in 1889 or something like that. So this is a pagan theologian, and this version of scripture reads a lot different than the KJV. But this is pretty much Matthew chapter 2. And it says, after the birth of Yahushua at Bethlehem of Judah or Judea, in the reign of King Herod, certain Eastern magicians came to Jerusalem and inquired, where is the newborn king of the Jews? And it's like, when I read this, I know the text is reading differently than the KJV. So I said, let me check the KJV out. And it's like, well, the KJV is saying it too. It's like, he is the newborn king of the Jews. He's not the king of the world. He's not the king of the church. He is not the king of the Baptists. He is not the king of born again believers. He is the king of the Jews. So why is that important? Because if you are the king of the Jews, or and Jew right here describes the word Jew right there is not just describing the tribe of Judah, it's the whole 12 tribes. It's just something the pagans did. So he is the king of the nation of Israel. That means that you have to follow that nation's way of life if you want to enjoy in the benefits of this king. But this text is specifically saying he is the king of the Jews. It gets better. He says, "For we have seen his star in the east country and are come to do him homage." I like that phrase better because the KJV, which was translated by pagans who were Christians, so the KJV has a lot of Christianity in it. They're going to say we come to worship him. And that's where the Christians get that he received worship because he's God. This text reads more true to what these magicians are doing. They're coming to pay homage. Homage is because he's a king. They know the prophecies. So they're not worshiping him like we worship the Father. That is very, very, very critical that we make that point clear. They are coming to pay homage because he is a king. That's why I like this translation a lot better than the KJV. And it says, King Herod, hearing this, was alarmed, and all Jerusalem with him. And having assembled all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he demanded of them where the Messiah should be born. They answered, at Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the canton of Judah, are not the least illustrious among the cities of Judah, for out of thee shall come a ruler who will govern my people, Yashar'Allah, or Israel. And it's like, again, I compared this to the KJV, and the KJV says it too. It's like, how are we missing this? How you have all these other, you have the Romans, you have the Chinese, you have all these Irish people. Like, no, he is the king of the Israelites. And the Most High says he's going to govern my people. He's not going to govern you. He's going to govern my people. Any comments or questions about that? All right, the next one I'm going to share, and then I got to grab the other one off of my email. And this is just so you guys have this information to be secure of what we're doing here with the Torah group. So this is another one. Sister Joyce, can you read this while I grab this email?
I'm just saying this. The meeting is in. Okay. Gotta move something out of the way because it's covering up the words for me.
Which my camera is.
I think it's on. It may be on my side.
No, that didn't change it, did it? I don't know how to get that box out of there.
I think the first line, does it say the worship of the one true Elohim had been fixed?
Yes.
Okay. So this reads, the first worship of the one true Elohim had been fixed in the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as the faith which made them a nation. That is, as the dogma on which their national existence was so based that through maintaining it, they were to continue a people. The Jewish polity lived in and by this belief, and as a nation was its prophet. Certainly, this was the noblest form which nationalism has ever assumed. And then it says, yet.
All praises. The Lord says. I clipped this because I don't know if you guys like tennis. I've been following the U.S. Open, and I'm rooting for all our people. Coco Golf. She lost to Naomi Osaka, And Naomi Osaka, her father is a so-called Haitian, so I support her. Venus was in the doubles, and then a brother Tiafo. I'm supporting all our people, even though they're representing the U.S. flag. And as I'm watching these competitions, the fans are going bananas for their flag, for their country. And I said, wow, look at look at this, like, nationalism is everywhere. Everyone supports their nation. You root for your countrymen and your flag. And now we're telling people that, well, our nation really isn't America. Our nation isn't West Africa. Our nation isn't Jamaica. Our nation isn't Puerto Rico. Our nation isn't Haiti. Our nation is Israel. And now that we're saying this, everyone was like, well, it don't matter about where you come from. But all these competitions, people are going crazy for nationalism. And, you know, I'm going to say this. I'm not trying to offend, but I'm going to say this. The nation of the Hebrews are the greatest nation on earth because we were the only nation given a covenant with the great I am. And this, the water says for that one con. And this text right here, I love it because it's saying that the worship of the one true God, the one true Elohim, it was fixed with the children of Abraham, then Isaac, and then Jacob. And this faith that we are a part of, it makes us a nation. It makes us rise. So that's why we go so hard trying to win our brothers and sisters. We have a national way of life that is holy, set apart from these people. Just today, I'm going out and I'm trying to get into the store, and I can't even get into the store because they got all this stuff on the door. It's Halloween. I thought it was some trash. It was trash. They got Halloween decorations all on the door. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to get in the store. So it's like we don't have no business partaking with these people. And now that we're saying this, now that the Most High is like Hezekiah sings, the Most High is visiting the slaves. The Most High is visiting the children of the slaves, and we're standing up saying that we are the children of Israel. We are the Hebrews of the Bible. We shouldn't be partaking with all this rainbow coalition and all this. We have a holy way of life, and this covenant makes us kin. Whether you don't like my hair, you don't like my shoes, but we are part of the same covenant. This makes us folk. And we turned from it, and look what happened. So that's why I'm about nationalism. And it's only a bad word when us dark-skinned people start talking about our nation. Before, it's like, remember the Holocaust. Remember this. Everybody can remember their tragedy except us. They want to rewrite our tragedy. So that's why we go so hard in the paint. Preaching and teaching are a covenant, and we are the people in covenant with the great I am. The text supports this. Any comments or questions about this?
Con, I was gonna say too, it's so funny that I even just look back just over my life and before I even came in this walk, but when I met Brother Nariah, he was saying that was one of the first questions that he asked when he came over and was with me and one of my homegirls. We was listening to a Christian pastor on YouTube, and he was like, "Do you mind pausing the video?" So we paused it, and then he seen that I had my Bible and all of that with me, but he was like, "Do you know who this Bible is speaking to?" And I used to always say like, "Oh yeah, it's speaking to whoever opens it up and reads it." But it's crazy. It's like the more and more I've gotten into this walk, like this Bible is so specific and it does not make like it's plain and clear. And like you said, there's no way to get around it. And so I'm just laughing on the inside about just that conversation that I was telling him. Like, yeah, it's open to whoever opens the Bible up and read it. But it's like, no, he is specific of saying, you know, I am the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or I am the Elohim of the children of Israel. And so it's specific, and I'm appreciative that I now have that understanding and I've awakened to that. So all praises.
All praises to the great I am for giving you a heart of flesh to even consider uh, going against years of Christian dogma. So all praise to the great I am. This is the last thing I want to share with those who are not on social media. But those of you on Facebook, you guys have seen this. But this is a PDF you can download, and it's just more arsenal I keep finding as I'm just doing research. Because again, I'm not dogmatic. As I destroy Christian dogma, I'm not dogmatic about our covenant or our beliefs. And what I mean by that, I keep trying to find some Christian writings that's going to pretty much debunk what we're teaching. And the more I try to find these Christian writings and witnesses, they just support what we're teaching, that it is for Israel. And this right here is bearing witness that there is no such thing as a New Testament. So this is a PDF. You can download it. And on this screenshot, the year of publish is cut off. But if you go to just type this into a Google search, it'll come up. And this is by a doctor. His name is Dr. George Campbell. Then you have Dr. James McKnight and Philip Doddridge. So this is not no black Hebrew Israelite. They're calling the Bible, before the Bible became this holy grail and this is the word of God, the collections of writings had different titles over the years. And I believe, I can't remember what year this book was published, so I'm not even going to put it out there. I want to say the 1700s. This is coming from the 1700s. If you can look up to the right corner, right here, the right corner is stamped in this seminary November 15th, 1917. So I believe this is early 1900s or late 1800s. This was being published. So as late as the 1900s, this Bible or this New Testament thing was not even a real thing. They called the collections of writings the sacred writings. The sacred writings are referring to the prophets, what became eventually stamped as the Old Testament. But as late as the 1800s, 1900s, people still was calling it the sacred writings of the apostles and evangelists of Jesus Christ, commonly styled the New Testament. So commonly styled the New Testament, that's a dead ringer letting you know that it wasn't a New Testament. These people, these pagans, are styling it or nicknaming it the New Testament, but the writers themselves didn't call it a New Testament. The writers themselves didn't say they were writing a New Testament. More importantly, when you read the writings of the evangelists and the apostles, they don't start any new way of life. They're keeping the same covenant that Moshe or Moses taught on Sinai. When Messiah himself comes, he's teaching the same covenant that they were given on Mount Sinai. They're keeping the same holy days as they were given on Mount Sinai. So this is just something, you guys can screenshot this or just go get it yourself. This is just more witnesses that there is no New Testament. And if there isn't a New Testament, what is the church living by? If there isn't a New Testament, what are you living by? More importantly, who gave you your way of life? Because the Messiah tells us Satan is the father of lies. So if you're saying you're living by the New Testament, and this right here is bearing witness that there is no New Testament, you're following the father or the author of lies, which is Satan. This is very heavy. This is very, very heavy. Any comments or questions about this witness? All right, all praise to the great I am. Let me stop this share. And we're going to get back into covenants and promises part 3. And last week we just went over what they call the Noahide covenant that Noah was given, and how when you see the bow in the sky, that's going to be your confirmation that this is not the flood again. And the point of that whole class or part 2 was the Christians try to take us back to Noah They figure too much of the text is proven that Abraham is special. Too much of the text is proven that Abraham's physical seed is special, and they can't get around it. Either they have to call the Bible a lie, or they have to just keep philosophizing if you try to take Abraham out. So what some of the more polished Christians do, they try to go back before Abraham. And that was the whole purpose of last week. They try to take us to Noah days post flood and see in Noah in Genesis 9, Abba gave a covenant to mankind because Noah's 3 sons repopulated the earth. And we just debunked that because when we read Jubilees, we find out that the parameters of Noah's covenant that Abba made with Noah and his sons, those stipulations were breached. They began to shed innocent blood. They began to eat blood, and they began to sell people as slaves. So when the Christian apologists try to be deceitful and cunning and conniving and go back to Noah's covenant, we can easily debunk that, showing that, well, those stipulations for that promise have been breached. And more importantly, we said that when we learn the true word for covenant, Genesis 9, that is not a true covenant. The word covenant, let me go back one slide because something came to me after class, and this is when I be leaving my stickies all over the place. This word on the screen, barat. This word barat, a lot of people who can't read Hebrew or don't know original Hebrew, they say Brit, but barat means to cut. No, I'm sorry. Barat
Marah.
it's not sharing.
Uh-uh.
The water
I'm-
says the water. You know, I get going and it's over. The water for that, because once I get going, I just. All right, so this is the word we learned last week, barat. Barat is different than karat. Karat right here, karat means to cut. You cut animals up, and that is a true covenant. That is a very serious. We also pointed out this is where the pagans get their word carat from. 14 karat gold, whatever, 10 karat gold. Carat or karat means to cut. This is a true covenant, and this is very serious. But what we pointed out in Genesis chapter 9, when it comes to that rainbow, that wasn't a karat, it was a barat. And one way to process, a better way, when I listened to the playback, I forgot what I wanted to actually, a better way to process barat. Barat is a compound word. Well, not a compound word. It's a what they teach us in their it's like a help me, Father. A contraction when you have apostrophe. Is that a contraction, or what is? I'm forgetting. When you put an apostrophe at the end of a word, what is that called? Anybody remember? Is that a contraction? Their school is full of garbage anyway, but contraction.
Is it a consonant?
No, the water. I appreciate it. It is contraction. So the word barat, we could really make that a contraction because the root right there is the ba and the ra, bara. Bara means to create. If you put Genesis 1 back into our Hebrew, it's going to say Barashat Yahweh bara ha'arataza wa hashemayim. In the beginning, Yah bara, he created. So when you look at barak, it's like a contraction. Bara, you create, and then ta, you're creating a seal. You're creating a mark. And that's what the bow is. The Most High created a seal or a mark to remind us, I'm not flooding you out. This is just a rain shower. Does anyone see that? Bara and ta. I'm creating a seal. I'm creating a mark. And we pointed out Noah, when the Christians try to go back to Noah and say, well, God has a covenant with all mankind, in Genesis 9, that wasn't a covenant. It was a barat. The Most High created a seal. And even with that seal that he created, Noah's grandsons broke those stipulations. So by right, the Most High doesn't have to keep his word. He can bring the flood again. But we're just pointing out that when the Christian apologists try to go back before Abraham and go to Noah, they fail miserably. And the reason why they fail is because they don't know the language. They don't know the language. Sister Joy, you got your hand up, sis?
Yes, shalom, everyone. So, I always, again, my mind just always goes when we come up with these, or when we kind of break down these Hebrew words and the glyphs. But it made me think of beret. You know, the beret goes over your head, and there's a seal that closes it. So, anyway, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, come on. They without us, they have no language without us. Baret, Barak, Khan says. Anyone else? Anyone else? So Bara or Barat, the Most High created a seal, and that's what Genesis 9. Noah didn't have a covenant. He didn't do anything. A true covenant, two people walked through those animals and they agreed to the terms of that covenant. Noah and his sons did not walk through anything. The Most High just gave them a seal with stipulations. Noah's grandsons broke those stipulations. So there's no way you can go to Noah's generation and say that the whole world has a covenant with Abba. It just doesn't make sense. Now, what I do want to do, because we're not one of those groups that's saying that, you can't be attached to us, you can't, enjoy our covenant. We're just putting things back in true context like Abba intended. So what I want to do today, I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm not in a rush, but we don't have to get through it today if we don't get through it. I want to go through the promises that the Most High did make to the Gentiles. The Gentiles do have some promises that the Most High made with them. And so what you see on your screen is Baratam La Garyam. Baratam La Garyam. Baratam La Garyam. Oaths for the Gentiles. Oaths for the Gentiles. Okay? So we're going to see how far we can get. Again, we don't have to rush. You guys are in the comfort of your own homes with your shoes off. So we don't have to rush. But let's see how far we're going to get. And we're going to just keep it in context. We're going to kick it. We're going to keep it in context. And we're going to read the promises or the oaths that the Most High made with the Gentiles. So the Joyce, if you don't mind, the first one is Barashat 12:3. Genesis 12:3. Barashat in the beginning.
Genesis 12, verse 3. And I will barak them that barak you, and arara him that afar you, and by thee all the mashapah of the arataza shall be barak.
That is a promise or oath to the other nations. If you barak Abraham, I will barak you. But if you arar him or hurt him or curse him, I will arar you. I think that's a typo. I should have put an R there. So if you arar Abraham, I'm going to arar you. So that is one of the oaths to the other nations. If you help Abraham and his children, I'm going to help you. But if you hurt Abraham and his children, I'm going to hurt you. Any comments or questions about that? Next one, sis, we're going to DABARYAM 29, 9-11. DABARYAM is Deuteronomy, and these are the words. Deuteronomy 29, 9-11. And these are the words, DABARYAM.
All right, Deuteronomy 29, verse 9. Keep therefore the words of this covenant, and do them, that ye may prosper in all that ye do. Ye stand this day, all of you, before Yahweh your Elohim, your captains of your tribes, your elders, and your officers, with all the men of Yasharallah. your little ones, your wives, and thy strangers that is in thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water.
You're who?
The hewer of thy wood, the strangers that are in thy camp.
So this is now this is actually a true covenant, a KARATAM. And these strangers are being attached to the KARATAM, but what are their roles?
They are the hewer of the woods and the drawer of water.
So what's a synonym for that? If you're drawing water and you're cutting wood, what is a synonym for that?
Servant, maybe?
Servant. Are we stretching this? We're reading text for text. Now I know on the screen I put it back into the DABARYAM language, but you can read it straight out the KJV. This is Deuteronomy 29:11. He says, "This is the Most High speaking. Your little ones, your wives, and your it says thy stranger." Oh my goodness, Father. I didn't even catch that during my notes. It says thy stranger. Anybody reading that?
Mm-hmm.
Thy stranger, that means that's my possession. Come on, listen. It is what it is. I'm a nationalist. I'm a Matai Yasher Allah. I'm for my tribe. This text, the Most High is speaking. He says, I'm making a covenant with you, your little ones, your wives, and your stranger with you. If you didn't understand that, he explains who the stranger is. The one cutting wood and the one drawing water. This is a promise to the other nations. If you attach to us, serving us, you're going to be blessed with us. Any comments or questions about this witness? Let's keep going. I had a kathab here, Leviticus 25 as another witness. Leviticus 25:44-46 as another witness.
Leviticus 25, verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession.
This is what the text is saying. This is why the Christian church don't want to read the so-called Old Testament, because it has things like this in it. So you either want to change the text or you're calling the Most High a liar. He's saying the stranger with you, or pretty much your strangers that's cutting your wood and your strangers that's drawing your water, their whole posterity belongs to you as your inheritance. The children they have are going to belong to your children. And you see how it got reversed when we broke this law? We were over here having children that belong to the slave master's children. You see how practical this thing is? You see why you don't need all that hooping and hollering at that do. Let's just read this thing and make sense. Y'all can't fathom this, but we have a actual hands-on case study. We were being passed down to the children of the slave masters, but you can't accept this, and this is the Most High talking. That's why that glyph I came up with, this Bible and our way of life is hard. It's hard for people. We're Hebrews against religious dogma, and this way of life is hard. So if you want to be blessed with us, you can serve for us. You're not going to be equal to us. I'm not changing the text to make anyone feel good. If I make it back home, it's going to be by the skin of my teeth. I'm not about to mess my opportunity up trying to make people feel comfortable. That's why I hate smiling at the job. I ain't want to smile. I don't even know what you're smiling at me for. I don't know you. We ain't met. So I don't smile. I ain't trying to make you. I'm done making these people comfortable around me. Trying to prove to them I'm not a threat. I'm done. I'm about Israel. I'm about Yasher Allah, unapologetically. Any comments or questions about that?
And as I say, just so that they can hear, obviously the rest of it or being able to read it. But verse 46, because I know we were going down to that, it says, "And you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever,
How long?
forever. But over your brethren, the children of Yasharallah, you shall not rule one over another with rigor."
The strangers, we could own them forever. But if he is a Hebrew, if he descends from Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob, or even Esau, I can't rule over him like I do the Gentile. I have to treat him as a brother, and when he paid off his debt, I have to restore him back to his tribe. So this is a hierarchy. This is a separation between Israel and the nations. This is just give me book. We don't care about your philosophies. No, God was just using that as an archetype. So that's why he started off with Israel, but now it's everybody. Where is the text that say that? Where is the text that now we're all equal? I need text. Just give me book. We can rule over the strangers forever, but over our brothers we can't. Now, don't get me wrong. Even with the strangers, you can't treat them any kind of way. There was laws how you treat your servants. So I'm not one of these out here talking about, yeah, I'm going to be popping you in the eye. This crazy. We gonna be popping them in the eye and come here. No. You treat them as human beings because the Most High watches over the strangers as well. So the tour group ain't out here talking about we're going to be whooping people and raping people. What kind of evil mess you're on? No, we're going to have servants, but we're going to treat them as the Most High told us to treat them. But I can't treat them as I'm treating an Israelite because they're not an Israelite. Any comments or questions about that? All right, the next witness. This is another Baratam Lagarayam. This is an oath to the nations, to the Gentiles. Yashayah is Isaiah. Isaiah 14. Yashayah, Yah saves, Yah is salvation. Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14.
Where are we starting at?
At the top.
Okay. Isaiah 14. "For Yahweh will have mercy upon Yaqub, and will yet choose Yasharallah, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall
Strangers.
flee." Yep.
He's going to set Yasharallah. That's Israel. Yasharallah is the. I'm talking to the strangers here. Yasharallah is the real name for Israel. When you take Yah's name out of the word, it's blasphemy. So when you say Israel, you don't hear Yah's name. When we say Yasharallah, we are the princes. We are the powers of Yah. So we say Yasharallah, putting Yah's name back on his people, because Israel is an abomination. But for the sake of the babes here, he's going to put the children of Israel back in their land. Well, as I was talking about the U.S. Open, everyone has a flag they can wave. Everyone has a flag they can be proud of. Who is the only group of people who don't have a flag and who's outside their land right now?
Yasharallah.
Yasharallah. So he's going to put us back inside our land, and strangers are going to be joined to us. Read on, sis.
"And they shall cleave to the house of Yaqub, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Yasharallah shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids."
Didn't we just read that in Deuteronomy?
Um,
The strangers are going to be attached to us, right? But the text say because they're going to take us back and put us in our land. They're going to be our bellhops. They're going to be our waitresses, our stewardess. Hey, excuse me, stewardess, can I get a pillow? Can I get another gin and tonic? They're going to be taking us, putting us back in our own land. And then Isaiah 14 is saying the same language as Deuteronomy. We're going to possess them for handmaids and bondmen. So another oath to the stranger is you get to serve. Now, I would rather be serving a righteous, holy nation than be on the outside. I would rather. It's like all of us grew up with the I think everyone here grew up with The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Y'all remember when they would go on vacation, Jeffrey would be there having card games. He chill. He had got his boo coming over, the other maid from down the street. So it was like, I'd rather be a servant of a wealthy, righteous man than live in a filthy place like America. So you being a servant, and what it is, we have some, I'm gonna say this politely. We have some immature, poorly taught brothers out there saying some outrageous stuff. And then when you think of servant or servitude, everyone automatically thinks about how we were slaves, and that lets you know how bad we had it. Your mind automatically pops back to our people, and no, I don't want to do that. But if I'm saying that, no, you're just gonna be my butler, my driver, and I'm eating filet of, what is it, filet mignon? What is that? How you say it? I can't even say it. If I'm eating filet mignon, you eat it too. Like, I ain't gonna go to lunch around here and tell you to go. You go over there and get some, some pork bacon. Like, nah. We going to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle. You eating with me? So this is how perverted people are out there teaching this covenant. You making these strangers feel like they're gonna be just dirt and stepped on. No, my servants are gonna be treated well. If I outgrow my mink shirt, I give it to my servants' children. Like, this is how it's supposed to be set up. But you got these brothers out here on these corners doing all this screaming and yelling, and you got people thinking like, oh, this is reverse racism. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do to you what your elders did to my elders. Like, nah, the Most High don't condone that. The Most High don't condone that evilness. What we endured was a punishment for our disobedience, breaking the law. These strangers are not going to endure that. Any comments or questions about that? Did we finish that up, sis?
No, we're at Yahweh for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
So now man, even right there, that's a dichotomy. So the strangers who didn't rule over us, they get to serve and be maids and butlers, but our oppressors, they're gonna have that hard servitude. They're gonna be out there in the fields. I mean, the text agrees with this. We're gonna rule over our oppressors. We have multiple texts that agree. If you didn't touch us, you're fine. You get to serve. You get to enjoy our land, our grapes, our covenant with us. But for those nations who oppressed us, France, Belgium, England, Rome, Greece, America, you guys are going to be the hard servitudes or the hard servants. Narai, you got your hand up out?
Real.
You breaking up a little bit, out. You might have to move around or something. You might have to move around, out, because we lost you. While you wait on the ride, anybody else have something else?
All right.
You coming through, but it's still choppy. Keep talking.
Change this Wi-Fi. Hold on.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, right there you sound clear right there, Op.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to say, just to be a witness to what you just said in regards to your oppressors being your servants and ruling over them. I don't see any Germans serving the fish people right now. So I just wanted to point that out.
Facts. If you guys are really the people of this book and you guys are a part of this covenant, who are your servants over there? Who are your servants? This is just the most high giving us eyes to see, and we're just trying to help other people see it. You don't need nobody putting chicken grease on your head talking about let it go, let it go. It's just let's sit down and read this text and let's have a conversation and let's produce witnesses. It says strangers are supposed to be your servants. Those people over there in that land who are calling themselves the people, they don't have no strangers as servants. Great point, Op. Great point. Anybody else have anything else? So we're going to rule over our oppressors, but strangers are going to be joined to us to be servants. These are the oaths, Baratam la Goyam, oaths for the Gentiles. The next witness we're going to is Zechariah. I think I spelled that wrong. It's supposed to be Zechariah. Zechariah 14 and 12. Zechariah is Yah has remembered or remembered by Yah. Zechariah 14 and 12.
Zechariah 14, verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Yerushalayim. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
So, oh, Father, you really don't want no problems with us. You really don't want no problems with the real children of Israel. So, two things. Right now, they're in war over there. They've been fighting, and this is how ridiculous it is that they're propagating themselves as the children of Israel. For I think it's now 3 or 4 consecutive years, they've been fighting Hamas. Machapop, brothers, sisters, the Hamas is not a nation. The Hamas that they're struggling with is not a country. They are a militia group inside their own country. And you haven't been able to destroy them for 4 or 5 years. But if you are the children of Israel, the Most High is saying that every nation that fought against us, their flesh is going to melt away. Their eyes is going to melt in their sockets. So, what's his name? Netanyahu. What's going on here? Why are you struggling with a militia group? Not even an organized country with a military budget. Like America, Russia, China, they have military budgets. The Hamas are just some rebel bandits, and y'all can't beat them. But Zechariah, the Most High is telling Zechariah, everybody who came against you to do you harm, their flesh is going to consume away where they stand. I'm not going to give them rain. The Most High is going to fight the heathen for us. We're going to be floating on a river just eating grapes while the Most High fight our battles. So this is another oath to the nations. This is a promise. The Most High is promising that he's going to beat the brakes off you. So if you really want to come against us, this is what you have to expect. Do you really want that? Any comments or questions about this? Did we finish this up?
We did just 12. Did you want me to read 17 and then 18, 19 as well?
Yeah, we're going down to 19. I'm going to let you go.
All right. And then go ahead all the way down.
Yeah, 12 to 19.
Okay. All right. Verse 13, and it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Yahweh also shall fight in Yerushalayim, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. And all shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague. Verse 16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the Moloch, Yahweh Tazabah, and to keep the feast of Sakah. And it shall be that whosoever will not come up to all the families of the earth into Jerusalem to worship the Moloch, Yahweh Tazabah, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Matazariam or Mitzrayim, well, Matazariam go not up, and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh shall smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of Sakah. This shall be the punishment of Matazariam, and the punishment of all the nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles.
This is Most High's oath to the nations. First of all, I'm going to beat y'all down. Your flesh is going to melt in your eyes. And then I guess there's going to be a point where y'all remember, you 80s babies, we used to play a game where we take our hands and you try to bend their hands back and make them say mercy. And you keep going to the person say mercy. It's like, man, you feel your hands about to break. Mercy, mercy. Or we would say uncle, say uncle, say uncle. So the nations come to fight against us, Yasharallah, the real children of Yasharallah. The Most High is going to melt your flesh off your bones. Your eyes going to melt out your sockets. And then the rest of the nations who came against us, who finally say, I give, I surrender, y'all got to come up to our nation and keep the feast of Sakah or tabernacles. And if you get Brody and don't want to obey the Most High and come up to our feast, then the Most High says, I'm going to kill you. That means I'm not going to give you rain. So this is another promise or oath to the nations. Y'all are going to bring your wealth to my people. My people are going to inherit your wealth. My people are going to have strangers to serve them. And all you nations who just think you're going to overtake my people, I'm going to beat y'all down so bad that the other nations are going to say, have mercy, have mercy. Yes, I will serve that nigga. It is what it is. Yes, I will serve him. This is what the nations have to look forward to. And now you see why this so-called air quotes Old Testament don't fit the church's program. The churches want to love, collect money. If you give unto the Lord, he will give you more to give. Well, you can't give nobody give you money talking about you're going to be my servant. So that's why the churches don't want to read these prophecies. It doesn't fit their doctrine. It doesn't fit their dogma. God loves everybody the same now. Jesus died for all men. Show me 2 verses where Jesus died for all men. Any comments or questions about that witness?
And I was going to say, this is just one of those things where even just hearing this, it goes back to Hebrews 10:31, how it says it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living Elohim. It's just tough for people out here. It really is.
This way of life is hard. This way of life is hard. And man, don't even get me started. This way of life is hard. Absolutely, sis. Any others? All right, I think when he got like 2 or 3 more, we out of here. The next one, let's go to the so-called. Now we already gave you a witness at the beginning of this service. There is no New Testament, so let's go to the record of Luke 21:24. Luke 21:24. There is no New Testament. There is no New Covenant. Let's go to the writings of Luke.
Luke 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So this is a 2-for 1. The verse starts off with a promise to us Israelites, Yasharallah. Because of our disobedience, we were led captive into all nations. There's not there may be one or two nations when it's said and done that we didn't serve, but the start of Luke 21:24 is about us. Because of our disobedience, we refused to keep the contract, the law, what the church called a Sinaitic covenant. We refused to obey it. We were shipped around into all nations to serve them. But then the last part of the verse is for the Gentiles. You get to trotting down the land. So trotting down the land is what you see over there now. They have rainbow parades over there. They have swine fest over there. So you Gentiles, all you like, even the people that they're calling Arabs family, even when they show those so-called Arabs over there, even when they show them Palestinians, those are not the original people for the Arabs and Palestinians. The original Arabs and Palestinians are just like you and I. Same texture hair, same, we always came in different shades. But that's why those so-called Arabs stay covered up with all that garb on. That's not because that's their culture. They're trying to protect themselves from the sun. So that land is being trodden down by the Gentiles. You guys are having a good time over there. So that's one of the oaths to the Gentiles. Y'all get to pretty much cause chaos and ruckus in the land, in the Holy Land, until your time is up. This is one of the oaths, Baratam Lagoryam. You guys get to enjoy and just run havoc over in that land. Any comments or questions about that witness? All right, we got, I think, one or two more. Let's go to the last record we have, Kazawan, Revelation 3 and 9. I didn't pull all of them. I just tried to pull like some easy to see, some surface scriptures. Revelations 3 and 9.
All right, Revelation 3 verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
So this is a controversial verse. And the reason why it's controversial, a lot of the brothers, the Akyam, want to throw this and say it's about the fish people. And then the rebuttal is, this can't be about the fish people because they wasn't even around when John received this. And it's kind of like really juvenile. The Most High knows the Most High knows the end from the beginning. So you think the Most High didn't know that a group of people was going to convert and now call themselves the people? Because it can't be talked about, because I heard one of the apologists try to say that this is about wicked Israelites. And it's like, bro, that makes no sense. Because even if I'm a wicked Israelite, I'm still a Jew. I'm not lying. It says that they say they are Jews, but they do lie. So if I'm wicked, I'm still a Jew. I'm just a wicked Jew. Like the ones who crucified Messiah. They were Jews. They were children of Israel, but they were wicked. So this verse is prophetic, and it was calling those people out. Those people calling themselves Yasher Allah or Israel, and they're lying. I'm going to make them come and bow at your feet and pay you homage, pay you honor. This is another oath or a promise. So when they say that y'all think the Bible's about y'all, nah, not all of it. Y'all do have a part in there, and we're being fair. We're reading you your part. You get to serve the holy people, and you get to honor the holy people. Other than that, you get killed by the holy people. Those are your options. Get killed by the holy people, serve the holy people, and honor the holy people. These are the options for the other nations. Am I stretching this? Is anyone seeing something different? Revelation 3:9, they're going to come, bow before our feet, and pay us honor and homage. Next witness, this is 2nd Baruch 72. 2nd Baruch chapter 72 is also called, if you go out on the internet, it's called the Apocalypse of Baruch. 2nd Baruch chapter 72. We have 2 more slides and we're out of here.
All right, 2nd Baruch, chapter 72. Yep. Verse 1 says, "Hear now also regarding the bright lightning, which is to come at the consumption after these black waters. This is the word. After the signs have come, of which you were told before, when the nations become turbulent, and the time of Hamashiach is come, he shall both summon all the nations, and some of them he shall spare, and some of them he shall slay."
What does this sound like? He shall summon all the nations. Where else do we find this language? He shall summon all the nations. Anybody remember? He shall summon all the nations. Where else can we find this language?
The Valley of Yashaphat.
Yes, sir. Valley of Jehoshaphat. The Valley of Jehoshaphat is really the Valley of Yashaphat. Yah will judge the nations. Yashaphat. Yah is the Most High's shortened name. Shaphat means to judge. So the Valley of Yashaphat, the pagans say Jehoshaphat. It's disgusting. There is no such thing called Jehoshaphat. It's the Valley of Yashaphat. The Most High is going to, the Messiah is going to be summoning or drawing all the nations to the valley where they're being judged. And they're being judged by death. And this text says, some of them he shall spare, and some of them he shall slay. This is the text supporting what we were saying earlier. Some of the nations are going to be spared. The other nations, he's going to kill them. All right? This is how we produce witnesses. We don't come before the Most High's people and start philosophizing and getting you all feeling good and play that A flat, do. No, we take our time and we produce witnesses to support what we're saying. Just give me book. The Most High requires 2 or more witnesses. So some nations Messiah is going to spare. The other nations Messiah is going to kill them. Kill them. Any comments or questions about 2nd Baruch 72? All right, it gets a little better. This is still 2nd Baruch 72.
All right, verse 3. "And these things therefore shall come upon the nations which are to be spared by him. Every nation which knows not Yasharallah and has not trodden down the seed of Yaqub shall indeed be spared."
Who shall be spared, sis?
The ones that have not trodden down the seed of Yaqub shall indeed be spared.
Now, how befitting is 2nd Baruch 72 that it matches Genesis, where it says, if you bless Abraham, I will bless you. But if you curse Abraham or hurt Abraham, I'm going to hurt you. And when the text say Abraham, Hebraically, it means his whole seed. So you see how the text confirms what we teach. We don't invent things because it sounds good, it's good sound bites. The Most High has blessed us. The Most High has healed us by the blood of Hamashiach, and we have understanding now. And the text is supporting what we're teaching. If you have hurt Abraham's seed, Messiah is going to hurt you. But if you haven't hurt us, if you gave us a hiding space, if you brought us some nourishment, Messiah is going to spare you. That's why it's imperative that the Gentiles know who the real children of Yasharallah is, because if you want to be spared, you should be helping the correct people. You should be helping the correct people. Any comments or questions about that? Read on, sis. We almost out of here.
Verse 5. "This because some out of every nation shall be subjected to your people. But all those who have ruled over you or have known you shall be given up to the sword."
Now, Christendom or organized Christianity, they don't know anything about 2nd Baruch, or they're going to tell you that it's plagiarized, it's non-canonical, or non-canonical, however their cemetery doctrine is. But what we just read, or what sis just read here, we read it before in Zechariah, Deuteronomy, uh, Isaiah. So you don't accept second Barak or second Baruch because it's not a part of your religion or your schooling. But the same language that Baruch or Barak is talking about, the same prophecies is in your so-called KJV. If you have touched Israel or Yasharallah, the real children of Yasharallah, you're going to be destroyed. But if you have spared them and showed us kindness, the Messiah, our Messiah, is going to spare you. This is another oath to the Gentiles. So that's why I'm telling you, you righteous Israelites, you truly born again, covered by the blood of a Messiah, have compassion and let them know, if you have the money, go change your name with the courts. If you have the garments, wear these garments when you can, to let these Gentiles know that you are the real covenant people. Give them a chance to be spared. Give them a chance to be spared. So that's it. That's the last slide I had. This is DABARYAM wa KARATAM Part 3. I forgot to update this slide. This is going over, and there's many more. You guys know I couldn't pull them all, but this is showing that the Gentiles, the other nations, they do have some promises the Most High gave them. Some promises are negative and some are positive. It depends on how you want to act. It depends on, the Most High is telling them, you can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this or you can get with that. This way of life is hard. So y'all willing, I don't know if I'm going to be up next week or not. I don't know if Shamar y'all wants to come back on. But I will get to working on the other part of this, because the other part, if Yah spares my life, I want to go and highlight our promises and our oaths to us, the children of Israel, if the Most High spares my life. So that's all I had. It didn't take as long as I thought. The water of Sister Joyce for carrying the load for us. Any comments or questions before we close out?
And I was just gonna say too, it's just so crazy how, since I've been in this walk, I look back over all like the people that I've been able to talk to and, witness to regarding like the word and all of that. And so our people is just so caught up and so worried about these other nations, but it puts emphasis on the fact that we should like work out our own soul salvation, because it's like, I think the word even talks about like, unless your faith fail, like make sure that your faith doesn't fail, and then once you've been converted, you're supposed to strengthen your brother. And so it's like we worry so much about the other nation, and then you tell somebody, hey, it talks about spittle and all these other things. They don't want to hear that. It's just like, well, you telling me that he's done created these people for nothing and all of these things, but it's like, work out your own soul salvation. Understand who you are. Understand what power you have, following the Most High and his ways. And then you would be able to convert and like strengthen your brother. Like, it's just, we are something else. But the more and more I just think about it, it's like, I really wish that we would focus in, like lock in yourself. And I see the importance of why Nariah and even some of the other brothers would say, like, when you're first coming into the walk, don't worry about sharing all the information with everybody, because you get fired up and you realize who you are and all this extra stuff. But it's like, get your understanding, study to show yourself approved first before you go out trying to
Facts.
convert and strengthen your brother, because you ain't even been converted. You haven't even strengthened yourself to make sure that your faith does not fail. And so I'm grateful for this teaching. I'm grateful for just the precepts that are continuously coming out. Obviously, I'm in my second journey of reading the Bible from front to back, but I just love how, we bring out these scriptures, and I can't wait to like really dive into them and really sit with it, because it's just real. Like, you really got to study to show yourself approved and know who you are, so that you know what you need to be doing. And yeah, what the gifts and the promises and the covenants are for us. So all praises. I appreciate it.
All praises, sis, the water for Rabbah for those words, because when you start getting depressed about your debt, your bills, and then gas prices, and just like you start listening to these promises, like, well, all this Gentile wealth is coming to me anyway. So it's like, why am I about to get myself depressed about my financial situation when the Most High is about to flip this thing on his head any day now? So that's why these promises are so important, and that you rehearse them and know them, because how many people have destroyed themselves because drunk themselves to death because they couldn't get ahead in life. If they only took the time to realize, hey, you're really an Israelite, and you're about to inherit the world in a minute. So don't worry about what they're charging you for rent, for gas. You have a whole slew of blessings coming to you. And this is why the Christian church, Christendom, has pretty much for the last millennia, I would say, and I mean, no, I'm not that old. I'm just the writings I'm finding. They have spent hours and many dollars preaching this "we are the world" doctrine. Christ has erased nationalism, and Christ's blood has now made a new church. Christ's blood has made a new covenant that's open to all believers. It's like, Pastor, there ain't no verse talking about no new covenant. Ain't no verse talking about believers. All these verses, even from the evangelists and apostles, they're talking about Abraham's seed. Why shouldn't this daughter of Abraham be healed? Why shouldn't this son of Abraham be blessed? Even the apostles are going back to Abraham. When John was being born, his mother was like, blessed be the Most High who has remembered his promises to Abraham and our fathers. So this is why we make a big deal of people knowing that we are the natural seed of Abraham. There is no verse talking about spiritual seeds of Abraham. And no matter who can't see it, maybe the Most High hasn't chose you. Maybe the Most High don't want you. Maybe you have done something in your past that you thought the Most High forgave you, but he didn't, and that's your eyes are still closed. This is the reality people don't want to hear, because Christianity teaches that he forgives and he forgives, you forgiven, you forgiven, you forgiven. David was forgiven, but that baby was killed. Esau never was forgiven. So the people, I'm talking about our family and friends who can't see this, maybe they have done something that the Most High is like, you ain't even fit for this kingdom. That's why I'm not worried about recruiting. I'm not worried about inviting people to our feast days. Maybe you're not even worthy to be a part of the holy people. Let me stop before I go off too. I said too much. Bless God. Yes, Lord. Hallelujah. Jesus. Anyway, any other comments or questions? Right, you got your hand up, Bob?
God, I just wanted to double back to what you were reading in Second Baruch 72. There's similar verbiage in Jeremiah chapter 30, verses 10 and 11. If somebody wanted to read that.
Jeremiah 30. Yeah, I think I saw you put it in the chat, right?
Because I agree, these religions will try to find any reason to disregard the extra text. But the two or more witnesses, just like the law states, eventually it'll come back to it in the text that we have.
Would you
You said 10 and 11?
say 10 and 11 out? Where'd you start at out?
Verses 10 and 11, Jeremiah chapter 30.
You got it, sis?
Con. Verse 10 says, therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Yaqub, saith Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Yasharallah, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Yaqub shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
And reason why I like the Jeremiah witness, and I used this before, because Jeremiah 30 is messianic. So one way you can help people in a conversation, first ask them, do they believe in Messiah's return? And if they say no, well, okay, well, me and you have nothing to talk about, have a good day. But if they're a Christian, their religion teaches Messiah's return. So Jeremiah 30 is messianic, it's Messiah's returning. And when Messiah returns, it says that he's going to burst the bonds off the people's necks. So if Messiah hasn't returned yet, when he returns, he's setting people free who has burdens on them. And what other group of people, not just here in America, if you start paying attention to international news and some of the brews from overseas post things from their countries, we get discriminated around the world. Higher rent and higher interest rates is not just here for us in America. They're doing the same thing to our people in London and Japan. So Messiah is coming again, and when he comes, one of his first assignments is to burst the bonds off the people's necks. So what group of people collectively have been oppressed or continuously being oppressed is not the Christian church. Y'all get millions donated to y'all. Y'all get millions. People, widows leave their whole estate to the Christian pastors. So when Messiah returns, what group of people is he coming to rescue?
They already saved. They don't need no. They
Right.
don't need nothing. They saved, and yeah.
Con. Navarre, is that an old hand or a new hand?
It's an old hand.
Okay. All praise much, but that's all I had. Just wanted to be fair. And, we're Bereans. We're not trying to be, dogmatic. We're not trying to be biased. We do read about the Gentiles in the Bible, and we just picked out a few. There's a lot more in there about the Gentiles. So, yeah, Gentiles are in Scripture, and you have a chance to be blessed, or if you reject your blessing, you're gonna be cursed, killed. So that's all I had. The water would buy. Pray someone was edified. Give me a day or two. I will get this edited and upload to the channel for you to review. You guys know if you find something erroneous, we are brothers and sisters, so we wanna correct it. But all praise to the great I am. Sister Joy, the water for your kind words. All praises to Sister Joyce for her work. If all hearts and minds are clear, Shamaria, can you close us out? Are you free?